This is the EdExcel GCSE 9-1 Maths Foundation paper 3 from the November 2022 series, and this paper is a calculated paper. Question number 1. We have to write the following numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. Well, this number is given to 2 decimal places. This number is given to 1 decimal place. This number is given to 2 decimal places. This number is given to 3 decimal places. We can write all of these numbers to 3 decimal places by using placeholders. The 0.41 we can rewrite as 0.410. The 0.5 we can write as 0.500. The 0.46 we can write as 0.460. All of the numbers are now written to 3 decimal places. We can now directly compare these. The smallest is the 0.408, followed by the 0.410, followed by the 0.460, followed by the 0.500. So writing the original list of numbers in order of size with the smallest first, we have 0.408, followed by 0.41, followed by 0.46, followed by 0.5. Question number 2. We have to write down the value of the 2 in the number 12,345. Well, the 2 is in the thousands column, so the value of the 2 is in this number 2000. Question number 3, we have to write 4/5 as a decimal. If we key in the fraction button, then type in 4/5 and then S to D, what we can see is 4/5 is the same as 0.8. Question number 4, we have to write 19.4949 correct to the nearest whole number. Well, here is a number 9. We've got the number 19, the number 20, and our halfway point 19.5. Our number of 19.4949 is less than the 19.5, so we would have to round down to the 19. So 19.4949 correct to the nearest whole number is 19. Question number 5. Here is a list of numbers. From the list, we have to write down a multiple of 3. When we talk about a multiple of 3, we are looking for a number which is in the 3 times table. Clearly, that's 18. Question number 6. The graph shows information about the average monthly temperature in degrees C in Oman. For part A, for how many months was the average monthly temperature greater than 16 degrees C? So, here is 16 degrees C. We are looking for temperatures greater than 16. We've got this, and this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 months in which the average monthly temperature is greater than 16 degrees C. For part B, we have to write down the 2 months that had the same monthly average temperature. Well, what you can see is this month and this month have the same temperature of 20 degrees. That corresponds to May and October. So we have May and October. Question number 7. 208 bars of chocolate were sold from a shop. 1/4 of these bars of chocolates were large bars. The rest of the bars of chocolate were small bars. All the large bars of chocolate were sold for £1 each. All the small bars of chocolate were sold for 60p each. We have to work out the total amount of money for which the 208 bars of chocolate were sold. Give your answer in pounds. Well, the first thing we can do is find out the number of large bars. We've got 1/4 of 208, which are large. So 1/4 of 208, that's equal to 52. So we have 52 large bars of chocolate. And then what we can do is find out how much these were sold for. So the number of large bars sold, we have 52 multiplied by 1. So it turns out £52 worth of large bars of chocolate were sold. We know the rest of the bars of chocolate were small bars. So the number of small bars of chocolate we have 3/4 of 208. In other words, 3 times 52, which is equal to 156. So we have 156 small bars of chocolate sold. So the cost of this, we have 156, and we know that they are sold for 60p each. And so if we work out 156 multiplied by 0.6, we get £93.60. So therefore, for the total, we've got 52 plus the £93.60, and working this out, we have £145.60. So we have £145.60. Question number 8. 4 students play a game. The table shows the number of points each student has. Barbara has more points than Danish. How many more? Well, if we work out the difference between the 121 and the 19, 121 subtract 19, that's equal to 102. Next, we have to work out the mean number of points. Well, to work out the mean number of points, we need to add the number of points together. And then, with this, we would have to divide this by 4. So if we work out what this is equal to, we get 82. So the mean is equal to 82. So we have 82. Question number 9. We've got the point A over here, and we have to write down the coordinates of A. Well, we have -1, 2. So the coordinates of A, we've got -1, 2. For part B, on the grid, we have to mark with a cross the point 1, 4. So we go 1 across, 4 up. Here is that point, and we have to label this point B. For part C, on the grid we have to draw the line with the equation y equals -3. That is a horizontal line. You can see each y coordinate on this line is -3. So we have y equals -3. Question number 10. Here are the first 3 terms of a sequence. For the first part, we have to write down 2 numbers that could be the 4th and the 5th terms of this sequence. Well, to go from here to here, we subtract 4. And then to go from here to here, we subtract 3. So what we could do to find out the next term is subtract 2. And if we do that, 13 subtract 2 is 11. So 11 could be one of those terms. And then what we could do after this is subtract 1, giving us 10. So, for the next part, we have to write down the rule that we used. So we can subtract 4, then subtract 3, then subtract 2, and then subtract 1. Question number 11. Here is a cuboid. We have to work out the volume of the cuboid. So to work out the volume, we have 8 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 5. The result of this calculation is 160 centimeters cubed. Question number 12. Amal, Gemma and Harry each have a number of sweets. The number of sweets that Gemma has is 6 times the number of sweets Amal has. The number of sweets Harry has is half the number of sweets Gemma has. We have to write down the ratio of the number of sweets Amal has to the number of sweets that Gemma has to the number of sweets that Harry has. Well, if we say that Amal has X sweets, then Gemma has 6 times as many, so Gemma has 6x sweets, and Harry has 3x sweets. Half of 6x is 3x. So therefore, for the ratio of Amal to Gemma to Harry, we have x to 6x to 3x, which simplifies to 1 to 6 to 3. So we have 1 to 6 to 3. Question number 13. ABCD is a quadrilateral. We have to work the size of this angle marked x. Well, we know that the angles in a quadrilateral sum to 360. So we have x plus the 120 plus the 120 plus the 80 equals 360. So we have x plus 320 equals 360, which means x equals 40. Giving a reason for our answer, well, the angles in a quadrilateral sum to 360 degrees. The diagram below shows a triangle and the diagram is wrong. We have to explain why. Well, if we do 60 plus 50 plus the 80, what we end up with is 190. And this does not equal 180, and this 180 is the sum of the angles in a triangle. Question number 14, you can use this graph to change between ounces and grams. For part A, we have to change 850 grams to ounces. So we want to go from grams to ounces. So 850, we go across from here, and then we read down from here to get 30. We now have to change 80 ounces to grams. Well, the first thing we can work out is what 20 ounces is. And if we work out what 20 ounces is, well, we would get 570. So 80, well, first of all, 20 ounces equals 570 grams. And with this, we can actually find out what 80 ounces is. And we can do this by multiplying by 4. If I do 570 multiplied by 4, we get 2,280 grams. Question number 15. 2.5 kilograms of onions and 2 kilograms of carrots cost a total of £2.30, and 3 kilograms of carrots cost £1.74. Stuart has £2. He wants to buy 4 kilograms of onions. Does Stuart have enough money to buy 4 kilograms of onions? You must show how you get your answer. First of all, if we know that 3 carrots cost £1.74, we can use this information to find out what carrot is equal to. We can do this by dividing by 3. 1 carrot costs 58p. So we have 2.5 kilograms worth of onions plus 2 times by 0.58, and that's because 1 kilogram is 58p, so for 2 of them we have to multiply by 2. This equals £2.36. So if I do 2.36, subtract 2 times by 0.58, we get £1.20. So 2.5 kilograms of onions is equal to £1.20, which means 1 kilogram of onions is £1.20 divided by 2.5, which is 0.48. Which means for 4 kilograms of onions, we would have 4 times by 0.48, which is equal to 192. Question number 16. There are 3 different types of potato in a box. The table gives the number of each type of potato. Salim draws this pie chart for the information in the table. We have to write down 2 different things that are wrong or misleading with the pie chart. Well, first of all, there's no labels. So the labels are missing. The next thing we need to do is work out the required angle. Now in total, 90 plus 105 plus another 105, that's 300. So the angle for Jersey Royal, that will be 90 over 300 multiplied by 360, which is equal to 108. And for Charlotte and Maris Piper, we have 126. So now we need to, well, what we can clearly see is these angles drawn are incorrect. So the angles are incorrect. Question number 17. For part A, we have to write 87,569 correct to 3 significant figures. Well, if we were to write this to 3 significant figures, our number will either be in between 87,500 or 87,600. And we've got our halfway point, 87,550. Now our number is greater than the 87,550, which means we would have to round up to the 87,600. Now for part B, we have to work out 3.2 plus 3.7 times 4.9 over 5.3 subtract 2.8. So if I work out what this is equal to, we end up with a decimal value of 13.524. To 1 decimal place, we have 13.5. Question number 18, we have to rotate the shaded shape 90 degrees anti-clockwise about the origin. Well, if we trace over that shape, like so, what we want to do is rotate the shape 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So if I rotate the shape 90 degrees anti-clockwise, such that we have this over here as our rotated shape. Question number 19. Carly cycles to her friend's house. She stays at her friend's house for a number of minutes. Then she cycles home. Here is the travel graph for her journey. That's what we see here. For part A, for how many minutes did Carly stay at her friend's house? Well, what we need to do is recognize that the period in which we are not moving, which is this period here, is the period for where we stay at her friend's house. So if we take a look at the times, we've got 8:45 subtract 8:30, which will tell us how many minutes she stays at her friend's house. So we have 845 subtract 830, that's equal to 15 minutes. So we have 15 minutes. For part B, how far is Carly from her house at 8:50? So the way we can approach this question is to draw a line up from 8:50 and then read across. You can see we have 4.6. For part C, we have to work out Carly's speed in kilometers per hour for the first 20 minutes of a journey. So for the first 20 minutes, what we need to do is work out the speed. So for that, we need to work out the gradient. So we need the vertical divided by the horizontal. So we've got 4 kilometers, 20 minutes, and what we have to do is work this out in kilometers per hour. Now 20 minutes, that's equal to 1/3 of an hour. A full hour is 60 minutes, so 20 minutes is 20/60th of an hour. So to work out the speed, we need to do distance, which is 4, divided by so we have 4 kilometers, divided by the time, 1/3 of an hour. So the speed is equal to 12 kilometers per hour. Question number 20. Here is a list of ingredients for making 10 scones. 80 grams of butter, 350 grams of self-raising flour, 30 sugar and 2 eggs. Martin has 110 grams of butter, 1 kilogram of self-raising flour, 50 grams of sugar and 4 eggs. Martin wants to make 25 scones. He has not got enough of some of the ingredients. We have to work out how much more of these ingredients he needs. So first of all, from 10 to the 2.5 we can work out our scale factor. And we can do this by working out 25 divided by 10. And if I work out what this is, I get 2.5. So what I need to do is multiply each of these ingredients by 2.5. So if we take a look at butter, we've got 80 so far. And if I multiply this by 2.5, we get 200. So we've got 200 grams of butter available. So how much more butter do we need? So the amount of butter we need, well, we've got 100 grams so far. So the amount we need is equal to 200. Take away this 100 which we have already. The amount of butter we need is 100 grams more. Let's now take a look at the flour. For the flour, let's see how much we have. Well, we've got 350 so far. And if I multiply this by 2.5, we get 875. So we have 875 grams. The amount then we need is equal to, well, if we require 875 grams of self-raising flour. We've got 1 kilogram already. So as this amount is less than the 1000 grams, we can therefore conclude that he has enough flour. If we now take a look at the sugar, well, the amount we've got so far is 30. And if I multiply this by 2.5, then we get 75 grams. So that's how much sugar we need. How much do we have so far? We've got 50 grams so far. So the amount we need, well, that's 75 take away 50, which is 25 grams. So it needs 25 grams more sugar. And if we take a look at the eggs, we've got 2 eggs so far. And if I multiply by 2.5, we need 5 eggs. How many eggs do we have so far? We've got 4 eggs so far, so the amount we need, we've got 5 subtract 4, which is 1, so we need 1 more egg. Question 21, we have to make A the subject of the formula P equals 3A subtract 9. So if we have P equals 3A subtract 9, first thing we can do is add 9 to both sides. And if we do that, we have P plus 9 equals 3A. And now if I divide both sides by 3, what we can see then is A equals P plus 9 over 3. So we have A equals P plus 9 over 3. Question number 22. Rob has been asked to divide 120 in the ratio 3 to 5. His is working. He did 120 divided by 3, which is 40. And then he did 120 divided by 5, which is 24. His working's not correct. We have to describe what he's done wrong. Well, what he should have done is divide by the 3 plus 5, which is 8. So he should have divided by 8. Question number 23. 200 students chose one language to study. They can either choose French, Spanish or German. Of the 200 students, 90 are boys and the rest of the students are girls. 70 chose Spanish. 60 of the 104 students who chose French are boys. 18 girls chose German. We have to work out how many boys chose Spanish. Well, we've got 2 categories: language chosen and gender. Here is a two-way table we can use to represent this information. What we know so far is that there are 200 students in total. We also know that of the 200 students, 90 students in total are boys. So the total for boys is 90. We also know 70 students in total choose Spanish. So Spanish total is 70. Then we know that 60 of the 104 students who chose French are boys. So that means in total we've got 104 students who are boys. Rather, we've got 104 students in total, and 60 of them are boys. So we've got 104 students who study French, 60 of whom are boys. So we've got 60 boys out of a total of 104. We also know that 18 girls chose German. So we have 18 girls who study German. So now we can fill in the rest of the information. 104 take away 60 is 44, so we've got 44 girls who study French. Total number of German, 200 take away 70 take away 104 is 26, so we've got 26 people who study German altogether. Boys who study German, 26 take 18, that's 8. Total number of girls, 200 take away 90, that's 110. Total number of girls who study Spanish, 110 take away 18 take away 44 is 48. And total number of boys who study Spanish, 70 take away 48 is 22. So what we need to do is find out how many boys chose Spanish. That's 22. So we have 22. Question number 24. Karina has 4 tanks on her tractor. Each tank is a cylinder with diameter 80 centimeters and height 160 centimeters. That's what's shown here. The 4 tanks are to be filled completely with a mixture of fertilizer and water. The fertilizer has to be mixed with water in the ratio 1 to 100 by volume. Karina has 32 litres of fertilizer. 1 litre is 1000 centimeters cubed. As Karina got enough fertilizer for 4 tanks, you must show how you get your answer. The first thing we can do is find the volume of 1 tank. So to find the volume of 1 tank, we've got the cross-sectional area multiplied by the height. Now the cross-sectional area, we've got pi times by the radius squared. The radius here is going to be 40, which is half the diameter of 80. So I've got pi times by 40 squared, that's a circle bit, times by 160, which is a height. And working this out, we get 804,247.7193 centimeters cubed. Now, we've got 4 tanks in total. So the volume of 4 tanks, I need to do 4 times by this amount. And if I work that out, I get 3,216,990.877 centimeters cubed. The next thing we can do is find out the amount of fertilizer. Now I know I've got 32 litres of fertilizer, and if I multiply this by 1000, I can convert that into centimeters cubed. So we get 32,000 centimeters cubed of fertilizer. The next thing we can do is find out the amount of water. Now if we mix in the ratio 1 to 100 by volume, we need to multiply this amount of fertilizer by 100 to find out the amount of water we need. So the amount of water, we've got 32,000 times by 100, which is 3,200,000. So we mix the fertilizer and the water together to find the total amount of mixture. So the total amount of mixture, we've got this 32,000 of fertilizer plus the 3,200,000 of water, and it turns out we get 3,230,000 centimeters cubed of mixture. Now we're asking if we've got enough. So here is the amount we've got, and this is the amount of volume we've got in 4 tanks. This is the amount of mixture we've got. So what you can see is, as the 3,230,000 is greater than the amount of volume we've got in 4 tanks, we can therefore conclude we've got enough. Question number 25. ABC and triangle DEF are similar. For part A, we have to work out the length of EF. The first thing we can do is find out which sides correspond. We can see this side corresponds with this side. We can see that this side would correspond with this side, and we can also see that this side corresponds with this side. Now the first thing we can do is actually find out our scale factor with our corresponding sides. Our scale factor, we've got 20 divided by 5, which is equal to 4. Now what we need to do to find out the length of EF, that will equal this 4 centimeters multiplied by our scale factor of 4. And working this out, we see that EF is equal to 16 centimeters. We now have to work out the length of AB. Now we've got this 22 which corresponds with AB. So to find out the length of AB, we need to do 22. We divide this by 4, which is our scale factor. And if we work this out, we get 5.5. So AB is 5.5 centimeters. Question 26. One weekend, the Keddy family is going to do a sports quiz and a music quiz. The probability that the family wins the sports quiz is 0.3 and the probability that the family win the music quiz is 0.35. We have to complete the tree diagram. Well, if the probability of winning the sports quiz is 0.3, the probability of losing is 0.7. If the probability of winning the music quiz is 0.35, the probability of losing is 0.65. So here is the completed probability tree diagram. Now for part B, we have to work out the probability that the Keddy family will win both the sports quiz and the music quiz. Well, the probability that we win both, we've got 0.3 and we've got the 0.6 rather than 0.35. So the probability we win both, we've got 0.3 multiplied by 0.35. And if we work out what this is equal to, we get 0.105. Question number 27 for part A, we have to change 8,000 centimeters cubed to meters cubed. Well, to go from centimeters to meters, we have to divide by 100 and to go from meters to centimeters, we have to times by 100. So from centimeters cubed to meters cubed, we have to divide by 100 cubed. Meters cubed to centimeters cubed, we have to times by 100 cubed. So that means we need to do the calculation 8,000, then divide this by 100 cubed. And if we work out what this is, we get 0.008. For part B, we have to change a speed of 160 kilometers per hour to meters per second. Well, so far, we've got 180 kilometers per hour. What we can do to begin with is multiply this 180 by 1,000. That will convert this into meters. And then to convert this hours to seconds, we would then have to divide by 3,600. And it turns out, if we work this out, we would get 50 meters per second. Question number 28. There are 30 women and 20 men at a gym. The mean height of all 50 people is 167.6 centimeters. The mean height of the 20 men is 182 centimeters. We have to work out the mean height of the 30 women. The mean is given by the total divided by n, the number of pieces of data we have. The total heights of all 50 people, well, we've got 50 times by 167.6, which is 8,380 centimeters. The total height of the 20 men we've got 20 multiplied by 182, which is 3,640 centimeters. So the total height of the 30 women, we've got 8,380 centimeters, subtract the 3,640 centimeters, which is 4,740 centimeters. So therefore, to work out the mean, we need to do the total divided by n. So we've got 4,740 divided by 30, which is 158. So the mean height of the 30 women is 158 centimeters. Question number 29 for part A, we have to write 6.75 times 10 to the minus 4 as an ordinary number. Well, we've got this 6.75, and what we need to do is move this decimal place 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. We fill the rest in with zeros. So we've got 0.0000675. Now we have to work out 2.56 times 10 to the 6 times 4.12 times 10 to the minus 3 divided by 1.6 times 10 to the minus 2. The first thing we can do is key all this into our calculator. So I've got 2.56 times 10 to the 6 times 4.12 times 10 to the minus 3. And then I'm going to divide this by 1.6 times 10 to the minus 2. And it turns out we get a value of 659,200. So if our decimal place is here, we need to move this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So that means we end up with a value of 6.59 times 10 to the 5. So we've got 6.592 times 10 to the 5. Question number 30, we've got A, which is 2, 3, B, which is minus 1, 2, and C, which is 4, 1. We have to work out as a column vector A plus B. Well, the column vector A plus B, we've got the vector A, 2, 3. We then need to add this to minus 1, 2. So it turns out what we end up with, well, 2 plus minus 1, that's 1. 3 plus 2, that's 5. So we end up with 1, 5. Then we've got 2a subtract c. Well, we've got 2 times by the vector a. So we've got 2 times by 2, 3. But then I subtract from this the vector c, which is 4, 1. So if we work this out, we have 4, 6, subtract 4, 1. So it turns out our vector is 0, 5. Part D, the vector D is drawn on the grid. From the point P, we have to draw the vector 2D. Well, if I've got the vector D over here, what I need is a vector that's twice that, like this vector over here. So here you can see the vector 2D. Typically what we'll do instead is we'll use a single arrow, such as what we see here. We have shown the vector 2D.